I'm going to build a wall. I literally am going to build a wall. Today I'm building some sample walls. I have employees and I do a lot of training and teaching about different scenarios where you've got open walls or walls with insulation or walls with fire breaks. In the past I've always taught on the job site, but it makes it difficult when you're trying to train a new guy when you don't run into every situation every single day. If you don't know me, I'm Michael. I run Field Tech Academy and I discuss all things IT field tech related. I'm making them small so that I can move them around and then I can actually store them out of the way when I'm not using them. I'm making these 16-inch studs. That way it will match up to most construction. Of course, some are 24, but again, I'm trying to stay small, so I'm just going to go with 16. So I'm going to create the walls. On one side, I'm going to put drywall. On the other side, I'm going to put basically plexiglass. That way it is clear and transparent so that when we have the wall up, then they can actually see what's happening with their fish sticks or with their fish tape or with the fire break or with their drill bits. I'm not a carpenter by any means, so I'm sure this is going to be less than perfect. But again, all I need is just something for training materials. So if I've calculated this right, we're putting this at 17 1/4. That should give me 16 on centers. All right, so now I've got my basic wall structure built and I am 16-inch on center. So that is exactly what it would be for a 16-inch wall. I don't have a nice table saw, so I just did the poor man's way of marking my spots on each end and then clamping down a board to the drywall to make sure that I was cutting a straight line. Then I just used a knife to cut carefully down that line, try to make it as straight as possible. Again, it didn't need to be perfect, but I just wanted to try to keep this as tidy as possible. And I popped it and then folded it over and then ran back down the line with my knife to release the piece completely and cleanly. All right, let's see how good my cuts are. Next, I attached it with drywall screws and placed them about the same length that you'd see on a normal wall. Now we have a hollow wall to work with. I finally got in my 4x8 sheet of acrylic so that I could cut down a piece to put on the wall. That way technicians would be able to see what's going on inside the wall and it would still behave like a wall. It's pretty affordable on Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'm just covering a narrow piece of board, so even though it's a little floppy, it doesn't matter. The other thing that I did was I built some fold-out feet so that this will freestand, and I also put a handle on the side of it. That way I could carry it very easily. Now let's take this out to the backyard. I'm going to stand it up, show you how the feet work, and let you see it in action. I placed the handle in a place that basically gave me equilibrium so that I could grab it and be able to carry it with one hand. Still pretty heavy, but it worked pretty well. Now the moment of truth. I'm going to stand it up and make sure that my little leg idea works and that it will freestand. I didn't really figure out a good way to latch the legs, so I'm just using a bungee cord. And then I flip out my little triangle legs. These are high quality, very precision legs. And testing to see if it'll stand and kind of exactly, what angle they need to be at. And then here is the acrylic side where you can clearly see through the wall. So anytime I'm doing a demonstration, you'll be able to see everything that's happening. And here's a close-up of the hinges for my little feet, and you can see the blocking that I had to do to attach the hinges to the wall, and I used bolts and nuts to attach the feet to the hinges. Initially I used drywall screws, even short ones, but the tips were obviously very sharp. So that did not feel good when that rubbed up against my leg. I mean, it did really well until I had a gust of wind. So if you're doing a demonstration, and there's my hinge, you can see how I attached that. But anyway, it worked really well without wind, so if you're doing your demonstrations inside a building, then you shouldn't really have to worry about any kind of issues there. But it being outside, I tried to put it on the dirt and the grass, and then I walked away from it, and a gust of wind came along and made that thing come crashing down to the ground. So I had to kind of reattach a lot of the drywall because it broke loose from the screws. But other than that one mishap, so I just took a large piece of plywood and put it out there in the grass, and then it was able to stand on it with a lot more stability. So keep an eye out for my new videos that are coming out where I'll be doing some demonstrations to teach some different concepts of using the wall. If you enjoyed this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, let's get you out in the field making money. I'll see you in the next video.